What's up? What's up? It's the one and only guy, Johnny. I'm here. I'm here with the one and only. We got Tammy with us. You know, and this video is something that is very important that guys got to understand. Whether you're dating, whether you're in a relationship, whether you're single, um, and it's about being tested as a man. Women are going to test you, and I know a lot of the guys might have heard that. Maybe some of you haven't, but women are going to test you, especially if you're dealing with American women in this certain, in this particular culture, and honestly, women everywhere around the world, and women of all the ages, they always are testing. All right, and it's best that you know this now and embrace it, because for every test there is an answer. And I see a lot of destruction in relationships happen when a lot of the time the masculine, I'm speaking from the male perspective, when the man is being tested, he can't deal with her test and he responds incorrectly. So a big part of this that I just want to share is that when women test you, man, it's always, first of all, it's subconscious. It's not, they're not doing it, generally they're not doing it on purpose or to pick on you. It's more so that they're seeing aspects within themselves while they're with you and testing to see generally like if they can do better, seeing if you're the one that they should be with, they're always testing to see and check where they are in their relationship. I feel from my perspective that the feminine, because they have that feeling dynamic a little bit more than guys generally, because there are a lot of women that are much more rational and colder than guys. There are a lot of guys that are way more emotional than women. But we'll say generally they want to feel emotionally comfortable. But with that being said, the more emotionally comfortable the relationship becomes, the more she now wants to test it, because there's like a sense of boredom or a sense of, generally it's so much comfort that it becomes boring, or there's a despair, or she'll create a drama. She'll create a mini drama for you. And that's where you find yourself in a scenario, where a lot of guys are like, why can't I keep her happy, or what's going on, or she threw a wrench at you in the left. Like, women are known when it comes to dating, for example, to throw a wrench at the left field. Things will be going well, and then if something kind of messes up somewhere, boom, you might not hear from her again. Or in a relationship, things are going well, and then when she's in a bad day or when something's going wrong, all of a sudden the guy's confused, and you find yourself in a scenario trying to figure out what you got to do to make her happy, and that's where you mess up. You know what I mean? So before I go any further, let's hear Timmy, in terms of from you just being a representative of yourself first, and then you knowing women, you being a woman, have you found yourselves in scenarios where you should test, whether consciously or unconsciously?
I guess it's very much unconscious, I would say.
Okay, that makes sense. And looking at it with oversight, how would you say, what do you think, how do you think those shit tests happen unconsciously, or what allows you to recognize that they are a shit test or a test for him versus, before you, let's say you realize what that even was, you probably just thought you just felt unhappy or there was something wrong. Like, what are the things that let you know that you were testing a guy?
Honestly, I would say I wouldn't know that I'm testing a guy. It's more so just your response.
Mm-hmm.
That I just know, where it's just like, you're just more so, you don't really give a response where it's just like, it's like, you're just very much chill. Yeah. So I want to say something where it's like, I know, like, okay, I'm about to test somebody or whatever. But I guess it's just more so when you see how the guy responds, you gotta answer.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
No, I think that's powerful, because this is big, guys. It helps you understand. Like, they don't even know they're doing it. A lot of the time. It isn't like they can look back and be like, oh, well, I test guys this way or that way. Some girls might be able to, but it's just a response. It's a reaction. What you got to understand is that feeling is reactive. So if a girl feels some type of way, it's not her consciously thinking of a way to attack you. She's just reacting to how she feels, and it's being pushed toward you. And then the question is, how are you going to respond? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? How are you going to respond? And that's where you have an opportunity to shine and show, that level of maturity and guidance, or where you might slither and fail. We've all been there. In my younger years as a man, when a woman tested me, I responded in different ways, man. I wasn't calculated all the way. Sometimes I go off. Like, I'd be like, man, forget this, blah, blah, blah. And then sometimes I'd be like, oh, snap. Like, damn, what do I do? Like, trying to, like, fix the situation because I'm thrown off. When you're dealing with a woman, you don't ever want to be thrown off. Like, if I receive a shit test, like, if you throw a shit test at me, at the very least, I know it's a shit test first. So I'm not even dealing with her yet or what she's complaining about. I'm just dealing with the fact that, okay, I already know this is a shit test being thrown at me. So it makes me feel as though I'm not going to run around the world and try to solve this issue as if it's an isolated issue. What I understand is that it's a pattern that the feminine is going to always throw at me. You know what I mean? And as a result, you want to be a person that thinks ahead versus being reactive. So what I mean by that is I'm not going to be reacting to every girl's test that they throw at me. Instead, I'm going to observe it and think 2 steps ahead. And what are 2 steps ahead? 2 steps ahead are, oh, wow, she's throwing, her energy's off right now. She's trying to, get into a situation where she's annoyed and trying to put the pressure on me. And it's like, I'm not about to be moved by that. Like, I'm not going to feel, displaced by that energy because I already know what's going on. Like, I already see what's going on. And whether it was her, whether it was another girl, whether it was any woman, they'd be doing the same thing at different times and complaining about different things. That's why you've heard a lot of men say, you can't ever make her happy. I've heard a lot of dudes say weak ass shit like, man, just make sure that if she's mad, like, you apologize, or that you agree with her all the time, or happy wife, happy life. That's all a bunch of weak bullshit. It's a bunch of weak men telling weak bullshit to men passing down weak ass shit. So I'm here to nip that in the butt, man. At least for the people that listen to me and learn from me. You want to call that shit out because you want her to understand that, look, it's not me that you're mad at. You think it's me that you're mad at. But if it was any dude, you'd be doing the same shit to them. It'd be something else they're doing to piss you off. So it's not really me. It's a third point that's the issue. And that's important for relationships in general and dating is like, we're reflections of each other, but we project a lot of stuff on each other. And what we need to understand a lot of the time is, for example, let's say your girl or a girl you're dating might be having a tough week at work, or let's say if it's a girl you're dating, it might have been a guy she talked to before that was a complete a-hole that used her and abused her. And you might be a really nice guy, but then she projects that frustration on you because of her ex. And she's like, yeah, guys aren't nothing, or you got to pay for the date, or some, I don't know. She might try to give you a demand because maybe the last guy didn't do it. So the energy is being projected on you as a test, but it doesn't even have anything to do with you. It has something to do with the third point. There's 3 points in the environment. It's me, it's her, me, her, and then the environment, right? In this case, it'd be me, her, and then there's a problem going on. So I don't deal with her first. Like, what are you talking about? She's like this, and then we're going this way. No, that's too linear. It's like tennis. We need to step outside of ourselves for a second and use the man that has to have to lead that and be like, okay, what's the third point? What are you actually mad about? Because it's not me. Because I'm just chilling. Like, I'm just doing what I normally do. When a girl runs up to you, why? I'm always cleaning up everything. Or a girl might come to you like, why do I always got to do this? You're like, all right, hold on. You're not yelling at me. Like, you're yelling at me, but you're really not yelling at me. You're mad about something Let's figure out what you're mad about. And what you'll end up finding out 9 out of 10 times is what she's mad about has nothing to do with you. She'll be mad about something in her own personal life, or she's feeling something. There's some emotion that needs to be brought to the surface so that we can identify who the real perpetrator is, so that you all don't begin to think that it's you two that are the perpetrators. Same thing with a lot of women in dating. You'll be dating women and they'll throw stuff at you, and then you got to be okay to be like, you know what, look, this girl, she might have some issues, man. Like, maybe this isn't the right time for her to be dating. So, maybe I need to date somebody else that's more ready and just leave her behind. Versus you thinking, oh, I messed up and she's all angry at me and it's me and I messed up on something. Nah, man. You know what I mean? And these tests are always gonna come. So you almost as a man are like a problem solver. You're always trying to identify the intruder, the third point. Like, what is it that's getting you mad? Whenever she tries to, because the problem is if you don't do this, what I'm telling you, if you don't deal with what's actually getting her mad and you let her convince you that you're the problem, in some cases you might be the problem. So you want to be objective. Like, okay, what are you saying that I'm doing? You look at those things that you're doing, and you're like, okay, if there's something that I can improve on, all right, I'll try to work on that. So that's one case first. Look and try to really find out what am I doing first. But honestly, a lot of the time, and I know a lot of you guys can resonate because I deal with a lot of guys that I work with, a lot of guys, and I hear a lot of stories. And sometimes a lot of guys are like, look, bro, I don't understand. Like, she is never happy, or she brings up this, then she brings up this. And it's like, bruh, it has nothing to do with you, right? And it's time for you to call her out on her shit so she can deal with her shit. But you want to bring it to the surface so that she can heal herself. You become a healer with the woman around you, Instead of reflecting back that anger, you begin to guide her to figure out how to fix what's really bothering her. And then once she figures out what it really is, and you help her neutralize the situation, from that point, she begins to gain more respect and admiration for you, and until the next shit test again. You know what I mean? It might be a week, it might be 2 weeks, it might be a month, but it's coming. But when it comes, you already know what time it is. You know what I'm saying? You just solving shit. Okay, what is it this time? No, what do you mean this time? It's you, like you're blah, blah, blah. Oh, it's me. Oh, great, it's me. Okay, what am I doing? I just feel like you're doing this and that. Like, okay, but why do you feel that way? Like, why do you feel like I'm doing that? Because honestly, I'm not trying to hurt you. I'm not trying to bother you. Like, I'm not trying to be the one bringing you down. So what is the issue? Then she'll bring something up. Well, I just feel like I never do this or something like this or something like that. And you're like, okay, well let's go a little deeper now. Let's figure out who the real culprit is. Now, Tammy, I've been talking for a long time. How do you feel from your experience? How do you feel about the things I'm saying right now? You don't have to agree with me either. Go right ahead. You do not have to agree with me. Understand that.
Yeah, I definitely agree in the terms of you, in general, whether it's relationships or family and stuff, you usually project your own conflicts or inner conflicts or your day-to-day conflicts on the people closest to you.
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely understand that, and I definitely understand the aspect of when you're in a relationship or with close people around you, like family or parents or something like that, you kind of have this expectation of them fulfilling or solving your problems versus you taking accountability and solving them yourselves.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess, yeah, I agree with that part, and I would just say, like, definitely there's things that guys can work on. So I wouldn't just say, like, just because the girl is complaining doesn't mean that there's nothing that you can look at and within yourself to fix or improve on, because both parties are helping each other improve if it's like a healthy, relationship.
Exactly.
And stuff like that. But I definitely do understand the aspect of projecting issues onto somebody else and expecting them to solve that for you versus you trying to solve that for yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, no, that was really good because I think you brought up a great point in the sense that, yes, guys, there's a lot of self work that we must do as men, and a woman is gonna bring that up. Period. She's gonna. If you want to deal with women on a level where you're really dealing with women, get ready for every insecurity you've ever had to begin to come to the surface at one point or another. And the deeper you go into a relationship with the woman, the more insecurities you're gonna have to deal with. Your insecurities about yourself, your insecurities about her, you know, your insecurities about past traumas that start to come to the surface, whether that's your trust issues, your possessiveness, your argumentativeness, your demons come out the most in a relationship, especially once the trust is built. So for a lot of women watching as well, when you're dealing with a man, get ready for his demons to come out the deeper you guys get into a relationship.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. Just like when you're in a relationship, and I guess, the relationship that we have, like, insecurities coming out and having to actually face them versus like burying them and like just acting like they don't exist.
Which builds more resentment when you try to bury it down there. It's yeah.
So I definitely know that with them, like, for example, like with some, like, people being attracted to other people or something like that, like, like, attraction isn't really a choice. Like, there's a bunch of attractive people in the world, so it's not like, okay, because I'm attracted to you, like, I don't find anybody else attractive. But that's kind of like the program that we've been
conditioned to have with marriage, and like once you find one person.
Yeah, once you find one person, it's like there's nobody else for you. But then you realize, like, once you get into a relationship, it's like, okay, like, he still finds other people attractive. She may find other people attractive still, but then it's like, now what?
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like, are we going to act like they don't find other people attractive, or are we going to force them to try to deny, that aspect of themselves, which is just them, denying a part of themselves. So it's like, are you going to want to face that aspect or just push it aside and act like it doesn't exist?
Exactly. That's real. From that, what I get is you got to deal with the truth. You have to be comfortable with the truth. A lot of truths are going to come out that are going to be uncomfortable in relationships.
Yeah, and I wouldn't say also the truths that come out have to do with the other person or the relationship. This is just the dynamic of life. More so versus the dynamic of the relationship.
Yeah.
Because it's not like you don't like, the person that you're with, or maybe you might be feeling something like that in the moment or whatever. I don't really know. But these are just dynamics that happen, I think, because we have been programmed to, like, that fairy tale thing. Like, once I find this person, it's going to be all perfect, happily ever after, yada, yada, yada. But it doesn't really account for the real life issues, that come within that time period between, like, once you guys solidify that relationship and then basically once you guys end that relationship, or end, or someone dies or whatever happens.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's like, I think we don't think about, like, the reality of the situation. It doesn't really have to do with the relationship. It's just the reality of this world.
Exactly. Exactly.
And then just realizing that it's like you guys against the problem versus, like, you guys against each other.
Facts. Happily ever after was a dream that they sold us, and that was a big that messed a lot of people up, because happily ever after doesn't exist. You have to create happily ever after again and again and again after every shit test. You know what I'm saying? Both of y'all have to, once, I love what you said, it has to be both of you and your partner. It has to be us against the world. That means the world meaning all the guys that want to go smack at you, all the girls that might try to distract me, all the problems that are going to come and hit us, family, friends, distractions, issues, personal issues, external world issues, differences, conflicts. All of those things are out there. All of those things are negative forces that can attack you and your relationship.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't know how to handle these moments and these tests, your relationship's going to implode very quickly. And if you want to see every divorce that's ever happened, it's because they didn't understand this one thing. Okay, you alright?
Yes,
So
I
now I'm
just
just
had
playing
it.
with you.
Go.
So,
But
anyways, yeah, go ahead.
yeah, I was just gonna ask, like, I know shit test is definitely something that within this male dating community or whatever you guys might call it. But do you feel like guys test women also?
I mean, men that are skilled test women,
Mm-hmm.
but most men aren't skilled. So most men are just being tested by women.
I feel that.
And also women are at the receiving end. They're the yin, they're at the effect. So as a result, we're the ones causing all of the. Generally, we're causing everything. We're like, for example, you go on a date, you got to come with, and impress her. Generally, that's the frame, and she has to be wooed. So she's testing you out to see if you're worthy, because most men haven't come up to a level to where they can test a woman or what's the word, qualify a woman to be with him. And listening to 5D Attraction, I want the guys to put themselves more in the qualifying role. And for the woman listening, you should be the qualifier. You know, and women like to be qualified. Actually, it's just that they don't get to be qualified that much because most men don't have enough value to their standards generally, where they feel as though they have to impress them. But if you have a woman with a certain guy with, let's say he has a lot of resources, let's say he has a lot of status, resources, and she goes out on a date with him, she'll find herself checking herself, looking to see if she's doing things right. She'll be much more, making sure to see if she can qualify for him. But if you find yourself as a guy generally on the other end, or if she's a confident girl with a lot going on or whatever, generally the guy will be trying to impress her. And that's kind of the trend we see in modern America, is that men have to court and show the woman that he's worthy, and then she accepts him, and then all of a sudden he feels so great about it. And even the process of marriage, like he has to get down on one knee and put the ring up. I've seen women, there was a few women that proposed to a guy and got down on their knees, and I saw girls leave some of the nastiest comments on those videos, like, "Oh my gosh, she's crazy," or like, "I would never do that. Like, is she insane? Like, oh, I feel so sorry for her." And it's like, that shows you the entitlement and how much they expect to be the ones that are the ones that do the qualifying and choosing. But trust me, it's, times are changing. A lot more men are getting hip, and I think things are going to begin to balance out a little bit more. And a lot of women won't like it, but it's better you get with the program now, or at least embrace the idea of realizing that it's a two-way thing. And for the guys out there, man, if you listening to me, you know, you ain't trying to prove all this shit to no girl, bro.
Yeah. I would definitely agree, just like it's a two-way thing.
It's
I
a
feel
two-way
like
thing.
there's this mentality where it's a one-way thing.
Yeah.
In terms of like the guys coming towards the woman. But yeah, definitely it's a two-way thing. At least if you want it to work out.
Yeah. I notice generally when the woman kind of is a little bit more invested, at least when the guy is a good dude and not like a piece of shit. Because unfortunately, a lot of the guys that aren't that invested naturally are a-holes. That's why I want more of the good men out there with good hearts who generally are the ones to be trying to pursue a girl and prove themselves. I want you guys to be the ones to not be on that wave, because you guys are actually the good guys out there, and you should have somebody that qualifies and meets your standards so that you're not out here with a crappy chick, man, that's using you and taking advantage of you and just treating you like shit. And then when she gives you enough shit tests, she just fucking leaves you and cheats on you and goes on some trip across the country with some fucking random dude. You know what I mean? And you're sitting here still trying to get her back. I'm just going on to a story now. That's a true story. It's a lot of stories, man. So I guess we could do some final words. You want to go first? What's your final words, Timmy?
My final words are just, you guys are in it together. If you're in a relationship or dating or trying to build that thing where it's like the problem is not really, even if you may feel like the problem is this person, whether it's the girl or the guy, you guys can always look at it as like, how can you solve this together? Or how can we solve this outside thing versus like going at each other. Yeah, that would be my main thing. Like, it's just like y'all two against whatever the problem is.
Awesome. And yeah, my final words, guys, is simply, when you see a test, don't trip out. Don't try to make everything perfect all of a sudden, and that's going the wrong direction. And also, don't blow up and start tripping out and going all crazy. It's about balance. It's about being relaxed. Embrace that indifference, and then be like, all right, let's deal with the real issue. If she don't want to hear you out, she's tripping. Be like, all right, look, I'm not gonna waste my time, trying to do too much. But if she's a reasonable girl, you'll discover the issue, and then things will ease. If she's not being reasonable, then you don't need to interact with her. But don't go crazy over these shit tests, man. The goal of a shit test is to stay grounded, to keep your integrity, to stay confident, and to solve, because that's what the masculine is doing. And that's what a role you play in her life is, to solve things and mitigate those rough emotions and intense feelings. All right. So with that being said, man, I appreciate y'all listening. Go on at Patreon. Patreon.com/5D Transformations. Visit 5dtransformations.com.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Check out the music, God Johnny Music. You know what I'm saying? The music's crazy. Like, as an artist, man, I'm bringing that shit. Like, that's a different story. Y'all go ahead, go on to Patreon, reach out to me for coaching, and there's more videos on the way. Like and subscribe and spread the word. It's a movement that we building. 5D Transformations.
Let the God within you shine bright.
She said it. Peace.